This month, Tumble Track is having a sale on their air products, all the air stuff. 10% off the air products like the air floor, the sweet spot, the launch pad. These are all of my favorite things for home or at the gym. Visit Tumble Track at TUMBLTRAK, tumbletrack.com. Train smart.
Remember, the show is PG-13, so you might hear a naughty word or two.
Gabby Douglas has announced that Winter Cup will be her comeback meet. It's official. She's competing at Winter Cup. We'll discuss the full roster. The first of the Olympic qualifier World Cups starts this week, and we're going to tell you how it works, how the point system works, and who to watch, who's got a shot. And did you catch that there was a gymnast, a Division I gymnast, at the Super Bowl halftime show performing? I'm going to tell you all about it. Of course you didn't, Spencer, because you didn't watch it.
No, of course not.
I only watched to see if she was in it. Plus, all the college gymnastics highlights and ridiculous judging we love to hate. It is February 12th, 2024, and welcome to the number one gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. This is GymCastic, and I am here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation, where you can find all the scores, all the links to how to watch things, and of course, the important, hilarious GIFs, which is my favorite part of the week. Spencer, how are we doing college and cocktails this week? What's coming up?
Yes, college and cocktails this coming Friday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. The meet we're focusing on is Auburn against LSU, but we have a lot. We've got a lot of content coming up because we'll have then, after that, our regular weekly show where we'll preview Winter Cup in detail. And then Jessica's going to be at Winter Cup. So we'll have a live show for members Friday, the 23rd, after women's podium training. So no college and cocktails that day on the 23rd, because we're going to do Winter Cup that morning. And then we'll have another show Saturday, the 24th, after the women's senior competition at Winter Cup finishes. So after podium training on the 23rd should be about like 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific-ish. And then on the 24th, after the actual competition, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. We always do iffy hand gestures when we talk about the times for these, because who knows how long the meet's actually going to run and how long media will run after that. And then Jessica has to find internet, and sometimes that goes well and sometimes it doesn't. So, we will see, and we'll keep you posted as to when those live shows are.
Yep. So we'll talk about Winter Cup, 2 live podcasts coming up from Winter Cup. All the details about Gabby. It's just going to be Gabby, everything Gabby did, how Gabby taped her ankles.
Trinity.
Oh, and Trinity, that's right. We're going to get into that. Okay, so let's talk about Winter Cup. First things first.
Yes, because the roster's out.
Yes.
The roster dropped, as we say.
We're waiting forever for this. So this is February 24th coming up. You can still get tickets for it. It's in Kentucky, in Louisville, if you want to hang out in Louisville. I forgot that I've already been to this venue and completely forgot I've ever been to Kentucky, you guys, because we see nothing while we're at these meets.
I mean, add it to the list of the states you've forgotten you've been to, because it's kind of long.
So Gabby Douglas, you guys, it is her first competition in 7.5 years.
It's real now. I mean, we've been talking about this for a long time, obviously, but it's like she's on an entry list now.
Yeah,
it's really real. It's for realsies real.
It is. Okay,
how are you feeling? What are your feelings? What are your emotions? Or what are your significant internal things you need to express?
Okay, first, I feel like this is the first gymnastics competition because we're not counting all the reality shows that she has done that were competitions. Like Singing Upside Down, was that a show with a costume on?
Yeah, that's a famous Emmy-winning program called Singing Upside Down.
Costumed acrobat, something. She's done a bunch of, these kind of shows. So, you guys, one of our mottos on this show, gymnastics is for grown-ass women. Yeah. And here she is, a young 28 years old. She's only 2 years older than Simone. Back competing. I want to remind everybody of the many, many elites her age and older that still compete at the world championships level, still make finals, win medals. So Ellie Black is her age.
Yeah.
Marta Pihan-Kuleja was just at Worlds from Poland. She's 32. Becky Downey, 31. Chuso, of course, still competing.
Ageless.
Ageless.
It's just,
no one knows
it's just
her
like
age.
A symbol. She doesn't have an age at this point. Yeah.
And then Sana Vavers made beam finals, Olympic champion. She's 31. So it's not unusual. It's for women to compete. It is a long time to go without doing gymnastics.
Yeah. I love that you are already preemptively giving yourself an anger heart attack about articles talking about how old Gabby is for gymnastics. Like they haven't even really happened and you're anticipating them and already rebutting them. And I think I'm proud of this.
Thank you. This is basically the whole reason for starting this podcast. When I started the adult gymnastics,
preemptively yell at articles.
Exactly.
That you know are going to happen. Yeah.
It wasn't enough. I had to get on here. So so this is what I want to know. So she said in interviews this week that she's doing Winter Cup, some assignments, and then Classic and Championships.
Yes, so, in that NBC interview when she was like Winter Cup, and then a few more assignments on the side, and then it's Classics, and I was like, a few more assignments on the side.
You're going to compete continuously?
I'll order a Stuttgart on the side, maybe a Yeselo. Should we get a Baku World Cup for the table? Like that's very much like just throw in a little bit on the side. I loved it.
I'm obsessed with this because I was like, you're going to go back to Yeselo and win for the first time in 8 years again? Like the last time you were there in 2016? I love this for you. Go back to your favorite pizza places. You can do stuff now. They don't lock you in a hotel and only let you go where Marta wants to go. So, they did have that one day where they took them to the freezing cold lace factory and then they would get... Remember there was the one day they released them from hotel jail?
No, I don't remember the freezing cold lace factory.
The lace museum, I think this is where they used to get to go. It's like on an island. Cool. But anyway, so you guys, this is the thing. So we don't know exactly what assignments you can get at World Cup, but apparently there's allegedly some assignments. And do you think this is a good route or not?
I think seeing Gabby compete is always a good route. So yes, I think that is. But yeah, so basically the US schedule is they have Winter Cup, and then on the national team schedule, then they have the Stuttgart DTB Pokal mixed cup that they always go to, and the Baku Apparatus World Cup is on the schedule. Then they have a national team camp, and then they have sort of the late spring meet options like Yeselo, Pack Rims, Pan Ams, I guess, even though we were told that like they weren't going to do Pan Ams this year. That's why the Pan Am Games last year had to be the Olympic qualifier, and now apparently we have a Pan Ams. That's a rage-o-meter for another day. But yeah, so there are many, many, many competitions on the schedule this year. So yeah, throw in some competitions on the side. You'll love to see it.
I think it's really smart of her to make sure she competes at least one international meet before, because listen, the only way to guarantee you make it on the Olympic team is to win Olympic trials. That's really the only way. So in case shit, insurance, the plan for Paris, that's what it's called. Make sure, because you don't want to give the selection committee any excuse to not put you on the team if you're in the top 5. Like, you don't want them to be like, well, we've only seen you compete domestically, even though you've competed in 2 Olympic Games and hit your routines. In the whole international experience nonsense when you're 28 and an Olympic champion, don't let them use that on you. I'm not saying they definitely will, but don't let them even try it. Be like, I went to Yesolo and I won it again. I hit my routines. You can trust me. It's me. Remember me, Olympic champion? I'm just saying, throw it in their face by going to other countries and win all this stuff. Also, I'm just saying it's good to do because you don't know how you're going to feel in that situation again until you're doing it. So know how you feel, get it out of your system, get the the scary nerves.
Giving yourself chances, like multiple chances, is always good. Because in terms of Winter Cup and Gabby competing at Winter Cup, there's nothing actually riding on the results of this meet. Like, it's not a situation, at least in terms of it's not a situation where it's like, oh, she doesn't get a 13 on beam, it's over. Which we kind of had a situation like that with Suni at Classic last year, where she had to get a score to advance in the process. Gabby has been to a national team camp. She went in November. She's, she'll have additional opportunities here. But I agree that, having that qualifying score as early as possible that no one can take away from you, at least for peace of mind. So if you're watching for that at Winter Cup, 26-4 is the champion U.S. Nationals qualifying score on 2 events, 39 on 3 events, 51 in the all-around. So
and if you can't do math,
you want to watch along.
If you can't do math from looking at numbers, our 26.4 would be a what on 2 events?
13.2.
13.2-ish.
That's a 13.2 average.
Average between 2 events, which she could do in her sleep. So it's also just smart. Okay, but tell me in terms of historical significance, because we've talked a lot about this already, but how long has it been since an Olympic champion came back and competed?
Well, it's been
since
30
Suni
seconds
did it,
because Suni did it. But I think the significance here with Gabby is how long it has now been since her Olympic all-around title. 12 years since she won the Olympic all-around gold in 2012. No Olympic all-around champion has ever still been competing 12 years after their first or only Olympic all-around title. Gabby's the only one. Everyone else has been done by 12 years after that title. And so that is hugely significant. And Jessica brushing it off with Ellie Black and everybody, and everyone competes at this age, and it's so not even a thing. But it is a thing. It is important. It is significant. And no one's ever done this before.
Yeah.
And had not just been able to do it physically, but wanted to, had the motivation that it's not just let me get to that one plateau that I've been dreaming of. My God, I won the Olympic all-around champion. Now I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. That you still want to do this, I think is significant.
Yep. And I think the other thing I want to talk about is just the other women who've also done this and had kids. Chuso had a kid, but that was her kid's all grown up now. But her kid's a grown-ass
son
man.
is older than her somehow. That's the magic of the Chuso family.
But I want to just talk about Barbo Chanda from Chile. We talked about her forever because she has such beautiful. She's the one that literally turns out in her tumbling. I remember talking to her about her on one of her very first GymCastic podcasts 11 years ago with Blythe, who had been to whatever meet in South America and was talking about her. And how she's still competing. She just did it after 8 years, 2 kids, won bronze on floor at the South American Championships. And her toe point, you guys. This is why you want everyone to take the dance and then with the gymnastics concurrently. It's very important for my feelings about good form and art.
Yeah, I think it's a good reference point that you can come back after 8 years off and be better than you ever were before. That can be a realistic expectation. You can meet the level that you were before. You can exceed the level you were at before. I think Barbara Chondo is doing the best gymnastics of her career right now, over 40.
I agree. And I mean, Gabby hasn't even used her uterus yet, and she's coming back. Talk to us when you've used it. Then we'll see. If you choose to, if you don't, that's also fine. I choose to not. I'm hoping mine will expire anytime now. Anyway, you guys.
Jessica thinks of her uterus like a carton of milk.
It's gone bad. Can we stop this nonsense now? Okay. Other people who are competing at Winter Cup.
Yes.
Okay. Trinity freaking Thomas. Trinity Thomas. Trinity Thomas.
I'm so excited. A mere 4.5 years since her last elite competition.
Here she comes.
Which Gabby's small fry, 4.5. Try 7.5. But yes, very excited to see Trinity in elite with all of that, all of the difficulty that we know she is capable of that she didn't have to perform during her elite career because it wouldn't have made sense. But just at Florida, not like she was slouching in the difficulty department, starting her floor with a double layout. The only reason she wouldn't get a 10 sometimes is if she had too much power for that double layout. She's always been capable of so much more, and getting to see that again And that's what we loved in her, first excursion in Elite, when she rebounded out of that pass and almost killed Kim Zmeskal. The best thing ever.
Rebounded it into the air so high, Kim Zmeskal almost had a heart attack in the background. I think like in terms of like what she needs to show, obviously nothing, because we are blessed just to see you compete, Trinity, and that's all anyone cares about. But I think she just needs to show that she can do like a minimum level of difficulty, but do it super clean and hit her routines, because she should definitely maximize her ability to get really high E scores and go that route. Do less with your beautiful, perfect gymnastics. Don't try to fit all the D in there. Don't shove it all in. Just leave it. You don't need all that.
Force the judges to use their execution range.
Yes.
You have to. You can't just give everyone a 7-9 and just be like, you're also a 7-9.
Be like, wait.
Use the range.
They're going to do the math after and be like, wait, are we at a 9 of E score on an event that's not vault? Wait, a shaky pen.
Don't be silly.
Okay. That'll never happen. But once you get on the apparatus and breathe, they automatically can't get a 9 unless it's vault. Get a 9. That's why they can get a 9 on vault, because you can't breathe in that moment when you hold your breath the whole time.
Good point.
Okay, Jordan Chiles also competing here.
Yes. Excited to see, especially because you did not get to see her do anything at camp when you were there. So it's kind of like you got a chance to see generally light first day training kind of thing where most of the people are, but we didn't see Jordan.
Yes. And speaking of Jordan Chiles, I do want to play this from our College and Cocktails. We did a little update to last week's episode, and because we had to edit it, we didn't have to. We chose to edit it to clarify some things. So I want to play this for you now. If you don't know the fallout of what happened. So the fallout is a couple things. So we ended up putting out a statement because we got a message from USGG. It was like, hey, would you guys mind saying something? Because people are getting threatened now, USAG staff. So we don't usually edit anything. We didn't edit anything Jordan said. Like, your statement's your statement. We edited what we said because
you said USAG.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't a USAG employee who made the comment. That's why I felt bad. I was like, I think it was taken to mean that like we were saying it was Chelsea or it was Alicia or something who had made this comment, which was the furthest thing from my mind. Wasn't thinking that then, don't think that now. It wasn't. But because I guess Jordan had said the word head, and then we were talking about USAG. So we didn't want to make it like Chelsea did nothing wrong here. Dear sweet Chelsea did nothing wrong. We didn't want to make it seem like we were blaming her or Alicia or anyone for this. So that's why, because like that's not what we were thinking at all. But if it, came across like that, you don't want to keep that out there because that's not what we were saying. But shouldn't have said USAG person. I said like if you're a USAG person, because it wasn't a USAG employee, which they have confirmed.
Yeah. I've even made a point of saying, and I feel like it's none of our Club Gym Nerd members who were listening live. It's probably someone who heard a thing that was on social and then decided they were going to, send a threat. I feel
like the people who are listening live aren't the threats type.
Right. We're not. They're that fucking leotard, can you believe it type.
They're the come in here and talk about what they would do about college judging if they were a threats type, but they're not going to actually do it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I made a point of saying I praise Chelsea and Alicia for taking on these jobs because there's so much to change. As making a point of being like, it is not them. But anyway, so things got out of control quickly, which happens with social media. So I think that some people are confused, like by what Jordan said with not USA like, instead of like, it wasn't USA, it wasn't a USA style routine, I think is how it was interpreted. But what I was impressed with USA Gymnastics is they immediately did an investigation at camp right there on the spot. And were like, do you know who said this? Look into this. Was it anyone? Was it a judge? Was it a contractor? Was someone? And then just to make sure, but it was, Jordan specifically said it wasn't a USA person. It was not an American who said this. But I think our conversation stands in that
It
there's
doesn't make it better because whoever said it doesn't work for USAG. Yes.
Right. I was like, oh, and Jordan's full interview is up on YouTube now. So people can experience it exactly how it happened and what the conversation was like in full. But I think, we're talking about general problems with racism and coded language in gymnastics in general, and that exists everywhere. And even, and my feelings stand about the professionalizing judging, which we've talked here about for a long time, in general, especially in the United States, because like if you want to be a brevet judge, you basically have to be independently rich, have a job where you make your own hours, or you have to have a wealthy person that supports you so you don't have to work, because you have to be gone. Oh, you're gone for 2 months now. Nobody has 2 months off of work. How can you just travel once a week, once a month to camp, all this stuff? Like it's not, and there's only 3, if you're in the US, there's only like 3 elite meets a year. How no one can make a living from that. They can't pay them enough for that. So yeah, but anyway, and the other part of it is like taking the lessons from Black Lives Matter was no matter who did this or what the scenario, like it's important to know to really, really state your intentions, because you don't ever want something to be taken as, I'm trying to protect you from racism, but then by protecting you from racism, I'm giving you a heads up, but then it comes across as racism. So it's yeah. But anyway, that is why we edited the episode, because it got escalated beyond. So with that in mind, I am super excited to watch Jordan Chiles' new routine, not the 2022 routine that she chose to, or that was changed, but the new routine that will be potentially her Paris routine, and that she's really excited about. So that's what am I excited to watch Jordan dance? Yes, that is what I'm excited. Jordan shenanigans, dancing all over the place, having some kind of matching Nike shoes to go with each of her leotards. That's what I would like. Oh, change a leotard for each event, or change it for floor to match your floor routine. Is that allowed in USAG? They let Hope Spivey do it. Why not let her do it? That was only 50 years ago.
I'm sure even if they do it, there will be a memo. There will be some sort of absolutely not ever again.
We love you changing your Leo, but
it's too fun. Therefore,
the FIG will deduct.
Yeah.
That memo. Sky Blakely.
Yes. Ready for it. I'm ready for Sky Blakely. I'm ready for her year of hitting beam all the way through, because she almost did it all the way through last year, and she's going to do it all the way through this year.
Yeah, just hit beam. That's all you need to do. Hit beam in every practice. Hit beam in podium training.
Hit a 9.8 D score on beam every single time. It's easy. Yeah. Just come on. Just do a 9.8 D score.
And just go up to the selection committee and be like, ask me to do beam at any time, I'll hit. Like, wake me up in the middle of the night, I'll hit beam. That's all she needs to do, because everything else is fantastic. I mean, I would like to see her chung. So we'll see if she does it in competition. But she teased that she was, it might be actually happening when we talk to her at camp. So Kalia Lincoln, just show up, be yourself. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I am particularly interested to see how her bars is right now, even though that's not her starring event, with a year of, almost, more recovery time.
Yeah. And when I talked to her at camp, she said, her shoulder is better, and she, can do her all around, like she's feeling good. So hopefully, she just needs to show, if you need me, I can get you a 12 on bars or a 13 on bars or something, just like the minimum on bars. If you need me in a 3-up 3-count final, that's all you have to show, basically. What do you think? A 12.5? What's like the minimum?
I mean, whatever's going to get her into the top 5 all around at Olympic trials.
Yeah, so try for a 13, but
try for a 13.
You're never going to be used on bars. So just
I think Kalia is good at bars.
She is good at bars, but in this world, if it's Gabby, Suni, Simone, and Chiles, everyone else can just stop practicing bar. Throw your bars away. You're never going to be used on bars.
Burn them down. Yeah. Also, breaking news: late entry, Kayla DiCello, who was not on the original start list, but has been added to the start list. And I'm like, that's such a last minute, and guess who won the all around? I'm just gonna slide in here at the last second, and also I'm gonna win the all around at this meet.
Yeah, DiCello looks ready. She looks determined. She looks like she has something to prove. She's all business at camp. Probably one of the people besides Addison Feta who did the most gymnastics on the first day is DiCello. So I
that
feel
was like at Worlds when she was the alternate too.
Yeah, did
doing just like the
gymnastics.
most gymnastics.
Yeah, the most gymnastics of anyone at Worlds was DiCello in the back gym, and then she went to Pan Am Games, and so so we've already said that probably DiCello and
we said we were going to wait till next week to preview the competition. I feel like we fully previewed the competition, but maybe something interesting will happen between now and next week.
Like maybe I'm just saying, like, it's Winter Cup. Basically, Winter Cup is a dead meet that doesn't sell any tickets until now. So imagine, since it's basically just up to USA Gymnastics and it's just a USA Gymnastics do whatever you want meet, if another Olympic champion announced between now and next week, oh, actually, I will compete because there's 2 other Olympic champions hanging around. Not Simone. Simone's not going to do it.
Is this you like hinting at something actual, or are you just throwing something out there?
I don't know for sure.
Bounce around the room.
I'm just saying, if you wanted to like prove that you can do gymnastics and can be counted on, and your health can take it, then maybe do 2 events. Suni, if you wanted to, but also her health is the most important thing. So she'll, we'll have to see how it goes. But like, for an easy meet that you can just show up and do stuff and there's basically no rules, the Winter Cup is the thing. And when USA Gymnastics show up at the last day.
It's not like it's the rock and roll Reese's gymnastics spectacular. Like, it's a real meet with judges.
But also, USAG, I'm sure, wants to actually make their money back, cover their expenses at a minimum for hosting this meet. So they'll be like, Suni. They're already like randomly adding men on the men's side that didn't qualify, but people out. It's all Kensley, neutral deductions all over it. As usual, the men's
Kensley is giving so many neutral deductions out to the men's program qualifications procedures as per usual.
Yeah. Okay, so next week, full preview, but I'm just saying, keep your eyes.
Okay.
Before we get to the World Cups, we're going to talk about the World Cups because that this week in Cairo. I do want to give some updates, some GymCastic updates. So, we have virtual live show tickets. So we have live shows every year. The first one's at NCAs. We have our venue all booked and taken care of. So there's going to be, with the virtual pass, you get 4 live shows for the price of 3. 4 live shows for the price of 3. And these are the virtual tickets. And if you want to add a in-person ticket, like at NCAs, you can do that. It's only for Club Gym Nerd members. So if you're not a member already, join, because this is a great deal. And our live show at NCAs is going to be April 19th, the normal time, like the day off day. We also have a new Fantasy Gymnastics YouTube show where we tell you, like, here's who to buy, who to drop, who's an easy 10, what a 9-9 costs, here's who to get, who's injured. So don't put them on your lineup for the 3rd week in a row. Some people did that. Also, we're launching, so we said our fantasy, this is our beta year of our Fantasy Gymnastics League. We're trying it out. So we're going to try the first elite meet with Winter Cup. So this is going to work like this, only for Club Gym Nerd members, because it's a beta test of see how, because elite doesn't have teams until we get to the Olympics, and it'll be
Jessica's not going to pay attention to them because she doesn't recognize team competitions anyway. Teams
are stupid, you guys. So it's only going to be for Club Gym Nerd members. I want your input on how you like it, how it works. Do you think we should make changes? So you'll draft 2 all-rounders, and then 1 per event. And we're still working on the
6-member team.
6-member team.
2 all-arounders. Or a 6 routine, or 6 people.
It's my dream.
2 all-arounders, 1 vault, 1 bars, 1 beam, 1 floor is what I'm trying to say.
Yes. I felt in 1 per event, people understood what that meant, but I'm glad you filled everyone in.
I noticed that I made it worse. I will own that I kept talking and made it worse.
So we're working on the budget, because this is what makes this league harder, because you have to really hone in the budget. And we're only doing women's. Senior day 1, and typically we get the roster 24 hours beforehand, so we'll probably send out the roster so you can actually see if anyone's doing all around, who's who you want to choose, and then you'll do your spreadsheets. The fantasy league, we are for our regular NCAA season, we have our week 6 winter was team pointed toes. Congratulations.
Winter?
The what?
You said winter instead of winner. It was great.
Oh, the winner. Also, is this the husband of our listener? No, that was another one. Okay, because we had a husband of a listener one who was not had basically just gotten in, finally got into being into gymnastics with him or her because of being able to do fantasy. And then that person won. And I was like, no, the sports balls are kidding. But it's great. It's great for you. Very pleased. All right. So let's talk about the Cairo World Cup in my favorite arena, you guys, that looks like it's out of Indiana Jones and like an 80s action movie with like snakes with red laser eyes. It's the best. All the cats eating French fries. That's the meet we're talking about, by the way. I'm assuming it's the same venue. So, Spencer, this is the first of the Olympic qualifiers. Remind everyone how this works.
Yes.
Qualified Olympic.
Okay. Our next segment of qualification, Apparatus World Cup Series. 4 events. Starts in Cairo this week. Your best 3 results of across the 4 meets count. And you get points based on how you finish. So, 30 points for gold, 25 points for silver, 20 points for bronze. 2 people per apparatus will qualify to the Olympics. So that's 8 women, 2 vault, 2 bars, 2 beam, 2 floor. That's how it works. 1 per country per apparatus. So you can't have 2 people from the same country get the 2 vault spots. But you can have theoretically, more than 1 person per country on different apparatuses. Not eligible if your team is already qualified from Worlds or if you already qualified as an individual, obviously. So this is the next group of qualifiers. So, there are plenty of people competing in Cairo who won't be eligible to get to be on the Olympic qualification list. Like Becky Downey is on the roster for Cairo. British women already qualify as a team, so she can't get points. But I feel like for Becky Downey, it's always like, get a score at any opportunity you can so they can't say no to you. Get ready in case you have to file a protest for any team selection. Be ready now with scores from any meet always. So same for like Athora is on the list. A number of the Chinese women like Huang Zhaofeng from the Worlds team are on the list. Should place very well, but won't be on the Olympic qualification list. But cavalcade of stars in Cairo who can qualify and are looking to qualify to the Olympics. We're going to talk through some of them, some of the big names, people to know, people to watch out for, starting, of course, with Nina Derwal, but not on bars. This is the big thing. This is the twist. Nina, defending bars Olympic champion, not on bars. Not ready there yet, but is entered on beam and floor, totally capable of getting an Olympic spot on both of those events. We don't talk about them as much, but her scores historically, she is definitely capable of getting an Olympic spot for beam, for floor, and anyone who qualifies to the Olympics can compete the all-around at the Olympics. So even if Nina were to qualify for beam, but if she's ready to do bars by the time the Olympics roll around, she can compete bars at the Olympics. And then
because once you qualify, even if it's just for an event, you can compete all around in the Olympics. There's no yeah, it doesn't matter. They don't get there and they're like, get off the beam. You didn't qualify here. Everyone can do all around. Ugh, so boring. Who would want to do all around? But anyway.
You hate the idea that people might be able to compete more events.
I mean, I like it for them, but especially for her, like this is a good strategy, but also impressive. 4 months out from she dislocated her shoulder, right? Something like that. Being able to come back, very impressive. I don't remember exactly. I think it was dislocating her shoulder, but okay. So other people. So we have 2 people representing the Philippines. So Emma Malabuyo of UCLA. So we talked about her crazy schedule that she has. So she's doing beam and floor. My God, I can't wait for the judges to just fall in love with her beam. They're like, beam can be fun and sprightly And I want to say her beam is campy, and I think that they'll like it. That's what I think. It's like kind of campy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Levi Young Rivavar and her form ballerina of bars will also be there, is doing bars, beam, and floor at this meet. So excited to watch them.
Yes. Excited to see what, of course, me being a dork, like what Emma Malabuyo's D score is one of the things I'm excited to see, because we know she has the execution, but if she were to go and do her UCLA routines for the NCAA code, those are going to be quite low, or relatively low, not quite low, but lower D scores. Probably can't get a top 2 placement, even with pristine execution with those college routines. So I'm very interested to see what's in the mix. What's she doing?
Surprise entry, our next person?
Surprise?
Were you surprised?
I was going to talk about Chuso.
Yeah, I know. Were you surprised that she's competing?
No, it's Chuso. It's a apparatus World Cup. If she doesn't go and vault, there's been some sort of a global warming disaster. Yes, this has always been Chuso's best chance to qualify for Olympics number 9. She's on the list. I think she has a great chance to get one of the vault spots. Not a guarantee.
No.
But I think she has a great
does
chance.
it, I mean, she usually is, in the top few on vault. If she does this, goes to 9 Olympics, do you think that record will ever be beaten? 9?
I don't think there will be 9 more Olympics. Because this is not sustainable, what we're doing here. So no, I don't.
I'm glad you didn't say because of climate change, there won't be any people left to put it on. But
we could do that. We could say that too.
The current
I mean,
format,
I was thinking more like economically. I think it's an unsustainable concept to have the Olympics, even though it's my favorite thing there's ever been. I can think both of those things at the same time. But yeah.
I understand that.
No, I don't think anyone's going to do that.
Deepa Karmakar. Remember her? She competed for India. She also, she's great on all the events, but like most famous for doing a Produnova to terrifying on vault. And she served a banned substance suspension, but now she's back. So I'm excited to see her back and see what she's been up to and how things are going. There's been a lot of issues with the Indian Federation and with multiple sports federations in India, not just gymnastics. So I'm interested to see what she comes back with, how she looks after this time off. And it's an exciting thing for India.
On the topic of 1, look who's back, and 2, vaulters, I want to make sure everyone's watching out for North Korea, because North Korea's back competing at meets. And here at this competition, we'll have An Chung-ok, who won vault at the Asian Games with a Chung. So just watch out for a possible someone who's sneaking into those vault standings. Very, very possible here.
I just expect North Korea sending a vaulter. She will eventually be our Olympic champion.
Sure.
That's just my assumption going in. I'm so excited about who Argentina is sending. Isabella Ayala. You know how I feel about her. Oh my God. I love her so much. So remember when we saw her for the first time at where was it? Pan Am something meet, one of the championship game somethings. And she was a junior, perfect form, super flexibility, just, everything you want in a gymnast. Like just everyone saw her and immediately was like, gymnastics, that's it. That's exactly how it's supposed to look. Isabella Ayala. So she was unfairly, do you remember this? Ineligible for the Pan Am Continental spot because they did it last year and she was still a junior. And now this year she's a senior and they should have let the people that were going to be eligible for Paris compete last year, but they didn't. And that's wrong and unacceptable. So this is justice for Isabella. So we hope she does spectacularly. I'm so excited to watch her. Oh my God. Like, I don't really I love Emma Malabuyo and Levi and everybody, but Isabella.
We're not asking you to try to pick your 2.
Okay,
No
thank
one's
you.
expecting that of you. No one's going to force you to pick your 2 favorite beamers.
Thank God, because I can't. I love her so much. Oh my God. If she makes it, I'm going to be so excited. I'm also going to have to remember how to say her name the Argentinian way that sounds like Italian and not the Spanish way. So anyway, okay, before we get to our college headlines,
Okay.
I want a magic thing happen, Spencer. And I know you heavily believe in magic and witchcraft.
Sure.
So,
Absolutely.
and this power of feelings.
Yeah, my favorite.
So, a Club Gym Nerd member at the Rageometer or Rageometer, however you choose to say it, she's at that level, the rage level. Anne Marie, she manifested Raina's 10s at Kentucky. Raina Worley.
Whoa.
She did it. Like, this Rageometer was submitted literally right before Raina got her first 10. And now, as Ryan said, they ripped the seal off, and now she gets a 10 every time she walks into an arena and they throw 10s at her, as they always should have been. So this is Anne Marie at the Rageometer Club Gym Nerd level. This is her Rageometer. How does Raina Worley not have 10s in anything? Ridiculous!
And that is the anger that changed the world.
Yes. And then it happened, and now it's happened. So, Anne Marie, you did it. I'm so proud of you. If you would also like to have me
apparently
yell,
just manifest things that are going to happen in the future,
things
go
that
for
always
it.
should have happened. You can join at the Club Gym Nerd. There's many levels. You can have me yell about something ragey, or you can have us talk about something you just have overwhelming joy about. That's also a thing you can do at the Rageometer or Joyometer level. So thank you so much.
Some say
Anne-Marie.
the only way to get your favorite gymnast a 10 is to join GymCastic at the Rageometer level.
I'm also
I'm not saying it, but some people say this. This is
it is legend. So what happened this week? Did any Bulgarian queen's daughters get the things they always deserved?
Oh, does this mean you want to talk about Jessica Hutchinson tying Lindsey Brown's Denver all-around record on 39.825 with a 10 on floor? If you're not watching right now, Jessica has clasped her hands to her heart in prayer-like pose with her eyes closed at this moment, just in case you were wondering how Jessica feels about this.
If anyone deserved to tie Lindsey Brown's record, Jessica Hutchinson, you are the one.
Jessica Hutchinson. Tell me why. Explain what you love about Jessica Hutchinson's gymnastics.
She just is one of those gymnasts that you never worry. When she goes up, you can just relax. I'm not worried about a thing. She's going to be fine. All these skills are super easy for her. And she has that. She brings the Denver consistency and good form legacy to life with everything she does. And I love someone that I can just watch and relax. I'm not it's not a biting fingernails. Oh my God, are they going to make their routine? I like to just enjoy it, relax. All the skills are clean. I also really like how she does. Is it her switch full that she does? And she does all the turning at the end. It's like a totally on floor. She just zoops around right at the end, and it looks so much cooler than how everybody else does it. And I just appreciate her technique very much. And also, she did the legacy routine for her mom. So
feelings.
Yeah. So I love that. She did it last year. And all the legacy mom routines are gold. When's what's her name at LSU going to do that for her mom? Sierra Ballard. When's your legacy mom routine?
Yeah.
We need one of those. So
other news, excited. Oklahoma, casual 198.45. Don't worry about it. Tied for the 5th highest score in Oklahoma history. So they're kind of in first. That's not the non-development of the week. Oklahoma's kind of in first and got a 9.975 for every single routine.
Because they found their landings on vault. They were like, oh, here you are.
They're like, we were not trying before.
We were just going as hard as we could, and now we're going to drop out of the sky into a perfect stick. Yes.
Okay. Also, more 10 news, obviously. Joining this year's 10 club for the first time of the 2024 season, Selena Harris on vault, Leanne Wong on bars, Haley Bryant on beam, and Jessica Hutchinson on floor. Also, Maya Hooten got another 10 on floor. But now we have an equal number of 10s this season as we did in the entire 2021 season.
Yeah. So first of all, I would just like to state for the record that I am so
Don't pay attention to
excited
scores.
for Selena Harris. I'm so excited for Leanne Wong. I'm so excited for Haley Bryant. So excited for Jessica Hutchinson.
But I sense a but coming.
Both of Selena Harris's 10s in the Oregon State meet were not 10s. Neither.
Well, she got 1 10.
Wait, didn't she get one on bars? Was that last week?
No.
Oh, it wasn't a 10, so I don't have to be outraged about it. Because I was like, if that gets a 10, I'm going to lose my mind. Okay. Selena Harris's fault, not a 10.
Yeah. Okay.
The judges, I'm criticizing the judges.
Yeah, you were more worked up about this than I would have expected. So would you like to explain why?
Yes. Okay, so her hips were not extended, which is a big problem, and her knees were a little bit bent. This is a problem we see often. Someone does a quick twisting 1.5, sticks it, and everyone forgets what happened in the air. That they were not laid out, their hips were not extended, a little bit of bend in the knees. They're like, oh, they stuck. Oh, we're just going to ignore everything in there. So that is the main reason that it was not a 10. And, the judges often give 10s to these not extended hip vaults all over the place. The reason I was so upset
almost
with these
exclusively.
Judges, almost like NCAA champion bent hips. The reason this is so upsetting to me is because the judges I expect more from the non-SEC judges. The SEC.
Do you?
I do, but not anymore. Not anymore. It's all a mess. Everywhere's a mess. It's all terrible. There's no safe spaces anymore.
Because I know you use SEC judging as like a shorthand for crazy inflated, but I feel like, historically, Utah and UCLA judging, if we're talking about, the last 20 years, is like they get evaluated with the same forgiveness as top teams in the SEC. I have not seen a difference in in the long term. You can pick a meet here and there, yeah. But overall, I feel like it's not like they're getting gouged.
I mean, I think that the judging has been terrible. It's NCAA. It's always been terrible. This is nothing new. But I feel like it was in the SEC where we saw, who was it at Georgia, literally put her hand down on her dismount and, or Florida, and they didn't take a fall. There was, I feel like there was so egregious. The legend of Cairo, so incredibly egregious. And now it's egregious everywhere. This is so obvious. It wasn't a 10. And I was just like, where are the judges? What are they doing? So anyway, and the same for Haley Bryant. Haley Bryant did a punch front wobble.
She got her beam 10 with a very clear lean correction wobble in this beam routine. It is.
And I feel like LSU was like, in case you didn't know, we're going to post a highlight of her wobble on our Instagram for this 10 to throw it in your face.
That's what you should do.
And there are no rules anymore. And I was like, good for you, LSU, because there aren't any rules. Just throw it in everyone's face. Yeah.
As someone said on College and Cocktails, Haley Bryant is in her 10 with obvious mistakes era.
I mean, Haley Bryant deserves many 10s. This was not one of them. No, I'm so happy for her. I'm so happy for everyone, but it's just out of control. I just think we shouldn't talk about the judging. We should just every episode just be like, obviously none of these are a 10 and move on. I mean, and she has a gym slam now.
But then you're accepting. I feel like if you don't talk about it, then you're accepting it like it's fine. If you're just of course all the scoring was bad, so we're not going to talk about it, then it's the equivalent of saying the scoring was fine.
First of all, Haley Bryant deserves a gym slam. I'm very excited about that. But this is the thing. We have a better chance as humanity of fixing climate change than we do fixing college gymnastics, because the people in the system will not fix it. And so this is at this point.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
When are we going to have a rotation score that's a 50? 5/10s.
Oh, this year for sure. This year it's happening. A 50. They are going to give someone, they're just going to add an extra event, and that's going to happen. What's the extra event going to be? Cheering for your teammates. Yeah.
Oh no. Temp tattoos?
Oh,
Face
temporary
glitter?
cheek tattoo 10. Sparkle 10. Anyway, you guys, the insanity continues. Okay. It's just, I just can't. Anyway, the corrupt or correct is just out of control. So
there's no corrupt or correct because it's just Jessica's broken. This was the week that broke Jessica.
I put a poll up on our Instagram with 3 different routines to see what people would choose. And I switched corrupt or correct each time to see which, because they were all corrupt. None of the routines are 10s. But people thought Selena's was a 10. And I was like, more people, a lot of people also didn't. But I was like, you guys, have we not trained you on the open hip position? Oh, my God.
I know things are bad when Jessica texts me about scores. That's when I know that you have even been broken because you paid attention to the scores. And you're not supposed to do that for your mental health.
I know. I'm not supposed to not pay attention to the scores. I blame you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It is my fault. All right. So it's kind of dog days of the NCAA season. NQS hasn't taken over yet, but everyone's had 6 weeks of meets. No changes this week to individual leaders on any event. No changes to the top 5 in the team rankings. We had some, it's the time of the year where we've got you're resting people, load management, managing injury tweaks, kind of things. Like we saw UCLA did not have Nia Reed or Shea Campbell compete this week. Cal didn't have Maya Lazan compete this week. They said she's resting. And I think, the Cal Beam lineup, like all of us, looked at Maya Lazan not competing and just immediately went to pieces. So, it's that point of the season very much. So I want to do a look ahead to when it gets good. Halfway to the elimination meets. 6 weeks down, 6 weeks to go. Update. If the season ended today, with the acknowledgement that we haven't even started NQS yet, but I want to talk about it.
Okay.
If the
for
season
you,
ended,
Spencer, I will participate in this exercise
because this is fun. This is what's called fun. This is what fun is. If the season ended today, the 8 teams advancing to nationals would be Oklahoma, Cal, LSU, Utah, Kentucky, Florida, Denver, UCLA. So my first question for you, sound about right?
Oklahoma, Cal, LSU, Utah, Kentucky, Florida, Denver, UCLA. Yes. That sounds, yes. Yes, that sounds right to me.
What about Alabama, Michigan State, Michigan?
Oh, yes, those 2.
Okay, well, this is the thing. Because I agree with you, where on first glance, you're like, yeah, that sounds about right. But then we have complications. Like Michigan is hosting a regional. And right now would be the number 3 seed. If you did your bracketology, Michigan would be number 3 seed in their regional, with Utah and Kentucky both coming to town. And if I'm Kentucky, I'm like, no, do not want, do not like, do not accept, change these rankings. I don't want that. I don't want to, if I'm Kentucky, I don't want to be heading to a Michigan hosted regional with Utah also there and needing to place top 2. I would rather drop in the rankings toward the go to Arkansas's regional with Alabama and Oklahoma, where you're like, yeah, Oklahoma's probably going to advance, but then you kind of favor yourself, beat Arkansas and Arkansas, beat Alabama when you're both away. If I'm Kentucky, I like that draw better than having to go to Michigan. So that's one of those things. And Florida also hosting a regional, another team that has been fine so far this season. They had an improvement this past week. They got a high 197, which is still it used to be a high 197 was you are the champion. And now it's it wasn't even a 198, but good, solid improvement. Still not all the way there, but they're hosting a regional, and you would expect Florida to advance when they're hosting a regional.
Okay, this is what I don't want this to happen for the sake of the gymnasts, but I want this to happen, especially the 5th year, 6th year, COVID years. It's your last year that you can actually compete, gymnasts, in college, because you should go back to elite or just do adult gymnastics for fun or do exhibitions, go on the tour, do all the
Trinity is showing you the way.
Yes. Okay, so, but I hope the worst case scenario happens at all these regionals. I hope for total anarchy. I hope it all comes down to everybody that should advance and has had the best seasons go within like a half a tenth. They don't make it for something egregious that's so obvious that should have been deduction, like touching her hand to the floor, falling over, or bent hips on what's supposed to be a laid out 1.5, or just all those, or even like front vaults that have a huge straddle in the pre-flight, like the things that are never taken. I hope for the future of college gymnastics that that's what's happened and everything blows up and everyone loses their mind and they actually crack down on judging. And all these judges are all the coaches, because remember, it's the coaches who review the judges. And even though they have an assignment system, nobody gets reviewed. It's nothing like the FIG system. I hope everything blows up and it's nothing but tears so that this will finally be fixed. And I say that with all due respect to the gymnasts and how horrible that is.
I would like everyone to follow. You've been spending too much time around me. With all due respect to the gymnasts, I would like this to be a complete disaster.
Yes, that's what I would like.
That is the most
I want all the coaches who benefited from the system to be so upset that they immediately call the president of the NCAA to fix it. That's what I want.
Also, if the season ended with how teams are ranked right now, another question: who is actually top 8, who's making it to nationals? The Denver and Michigan State would be paired together and go to the Cal regional, the People's regional, with Minnesota. And I feel like that Denver, Michigan State, that's a 50-50. If those two were together at a regional with Cal, that's like 50-50 on the day, coin flip on the day. I think that would be so close. I think that would be super exciting, but that's an either or for me.
My God, that's too upsetting to even think about. So I'm just going to think about, I'm just imagining a congressional hearing where the head of the Women's Judging Association
is imagining a congressional hearing.
Is called in front with the heads of the NCAA and the president of the NCAA, and there's an investigation into cheating, and we get to watch people have to answer questions. Oh, you guys, it's the dream.
You want a congressional hearing where we show like vaults and are like, do you recall giving a 995 to this vault? Please, ma'am, please answer the question. Ma'am,
whiteboard,
your time is up. Ma'am, you do not have the floor. Ma'am, would the congresswoman please show the vault again?
Do you see on my whiteboard what is a 10 minus? Here are the deductions for claiming my time. This actually, that's not extended hips. Do you see that? Oh my God, the whiteboards we could use. Oh God, you guys, it's so good. Can someone write a script for us to do this play? Just like a 2-minute short play on what should be happening. Oh, the dream. Okay. Did we have, besides the judging, did we have anything good in the comedy section of this week?
Yeah, let's just do some comedy, because we need to lighten the college gymnastics mood, because I do feel like college gymnastics sensed we were flagging a little bit this week and really delivered in the comedy department. I think it was the best week of the season for college gymnastics comedy. On College and Cocktails at length, we discussed Florida's comedy floor rotation, but that was a really solid performance with the new comedy trio of the era: Victoria Wynn, Morgan Hurd, and Leanne Wong. Should go on tour as a comedy trio at this point, doing floor routines and leaning out of passes and missing their feet and kind of still doing leaps and, landing in Bambi straddles. But Victoria Wynn missing her hands on her gator chomp was truly
epic.
The most gymnast thing there's ever been.
It was legendary. The only other most gymnast thing ever to happen was that guy at the Super Bowl sports ball thing who just ran onto the field and tore his Achilles and was out of the Super Bowl. That was the other most gymnast thing to ever happen this week. Jumped, that was it. Took a step, done. Career season over. That's it. Yeah. What about Selena Harris?
You almost said career over. And then you would have yelled at yourself to be like, Achilles injury is not a career-ending injury.
I know. I almost
said
said
in the
that.
1960s.
I meant for this moment.
We also had a good, Selena Harris getting a 10 and then trying to do 10 fingers to the camera, but it was 01. She got a 1, which apparently is what Jessica thought her vault should have scored.
How dare you? That was the deduction it should have gotten for bent hips. Yes. Or was it just an ode to Nadia that she was doing?
Yeah,
give her some
that's
credit.
It. That was it.
It's hard to reverse numbers unless you're me. Maddie Williams.
Which you can do it at will.
Yeah.
You don't even have to
at
try
any
to
time.
reverse numbers. Yeah. Oh, I really want to talk about the Maddie Williams wolf turn. Maddie Williams at Cal. Wolf turn to immediate knee fetal position.
Yeah.
Yes? Knee artistry, fetal position, but then style, then leg style. Fetal position to leg style.
What does Danusia always say? She styled it out. It looked like she collapsed in Pain of a Nation and then rose with her back leg like a phoenix.
Pain of a Wolf Nation. Maddie Williams is really rising up the rankings of hilarious wolf turns. This is not her first entrance into the rankings. I'm not saying she's Maria Paseka, but she's really solid in comedy wolf turns. But this was a particularly amusing cover, and particularly amusing that she got 9875 for this routine when she just fully fell over on a wolf turn.
Of course it is, because nothing is sacred anymore.
Nothing
the
matters.
integrity of judging is over. Can't even. Oh, and then Eli at Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota really brought it this week. If you have a BTN Plus subscription, because I know it's expensive and everything, but I highly recommend going back and watching Minnesota's beam rotation. Yes, for the gymnastics, yada, 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 but watch friend of the show, Eli, who's working with Minnesota this season, watch Minnesota doing beam is the greatest show on earth. There's some synchronized skills. There are some spells being cast. There's some anxiety jigs. There's a lot of pacing. It's like anyone who's super invested in a particular college team and lives and dies with every skill will feel the most seen by this, because was just a wonderful watching experience. I could watch it all day long.
And also, if you just want to experience more of Eli, it's Eli Stark-Hawes. Eli is also a cross-country or track coach or something, and he's also in the military, and he's been in the news a lot, and there's videos of him in military outfits holding up gymnastics pictures. This is why he's just the most unusual and delightful person with the best Minnesota accent ever. So shout out to Eli. And then there was a score injury. Was this a prophecy fulfilled?
Yes. Oh, this was perfect. So, if you've ever watched a meet ever in your life, when they have the person who's flashing the score, who does the score, and then they push up the pole that the score is on, and then they turn it around so everyone can see it. So this woman who's flashing the score pulls up the score, but pulls it too high so that the pole comes out, and then hits herself on top of the head with the score, which was the most perfect summary of college gymnastics that there has perhaps ever been. It was truly, truly magnificent.
Don't pull the pole too hard, or
don't pull the pole.
It could all go wrong.
The pole is not long enough. No. Don't think it's going to be that long.
And then don't be too aggressive with it. That's the important thing.
No.
Oh, okay. We have some injury and resting updates, which Oh, no Maya Lazan for Cal this week. Oh my God. Fact checker was beside himself.
Oh,
Beside himself.
Devastating week for fantasy gymnastics.
Oh, it's great for her. Let the woman rest. But my God, you would have thought.
But like, what about me? Won't somebody think of the me?
Right.
And then Naomi Morrison was then limping off with her ankle all iced up after the floor warm-up. And Sydney Gonzalez for Oregon State got injured in the floor warm-up, and Bailey Bunn was in a boot. And it's just, cancel the sport.
Yes, it's terrible.
That's the real message here. Cancel the sport as usual.
I mean, if they don't have Naomi Morrison at Michigan, ooh.
I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this from you.
I'm just saying. It could be very bad. They need everybody.
Club Gym Nerd, you get discounts and first dibs on live show tickets, an extra whole podcast every week, athlete dossiers for major competitions, code guides, options to commission your own segments. It also makes a great gift. Check it out at gymcastic.com at the Join the Club tab.
Okay. Now, I teased in the very beginning, we have some Gymternet news, and I teased in the very beginning that there was a college gymnast who performed during the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Okay. Did you have any idea this was going to happen?
No.
I did, and I even reached out to her ahead of time and said, hey, does this mean you're going to be in the Super Bowl? So Kennedy Schneider, remember she was at University of Arizona, and she was an art major, and like her final project for her art major was like an exploration of photos of women, something. I just remember it was like very avant-garde, but they made it like they talked about it like, here's our art major. Because, it's hard to be an art major or like anything where you have to do a lot outside of your sport because it takes so long.
It's so hard to be a major for anything where you have to do a lot. Yeah, really.
I mean, you know what I mean? Where there's a lot of like labs or you have to paint things or make things.
Something
or,
practical, yeah.
Yes, the practicals. Those take a lot of time. So anyway, they had a whole presentation that they put it up. Oh, look at our gymnast is doing this stuff. Anyway, so she has gone on to pole dance, and she's a gymnast, so she's amazing at it. And she has been in Usher's show for a long time. And Usher was the Super Bowl halftime person. There was roller skating. I was very entertained by the roller skating. I made my own bingo card because the one that we got at the party was, like sports ball things, and that was boring. So I turned it over and made my own and then sent it to everybody so all my friends could play along with my superior non-sports related.
All right, what was on it? I know you're bursting. I know you want to tell us.
Butt slaps.
Yeah.
Flips, which there were no actual flips, but I did end up counting. I think that the roller skaters doing front and back handsprings should get points because that's hard.
You counted the halftime show? I feel like that's kind of cheating.
Excuse me, I counted everything that happened. There were things for what people said in the room. Like if somebody said Taylor Swift's boyfriend, you could check that off. It involved the whole experience. If an announcer said something, so I had hugs, butt slaps. If a grown man got too emotional and shoved someone and that happened, Taylor Swift's boyfriend shoved the coach. And so anyway, you guys, it was very fun and I enjoyed playing by myself.
Sound like you had a great time. Yeah.
Got so invested. But I should have put D1 gymnasts in the halftime show because Kennedy Schneider was there was like 4 or 6 pole dancers and she was one of them when Ludacris came out. And there she was. So anyway, you guys, mark it off your bingo card. If you had that one on that, yay for gymnasts. They could do anything. The Paris medals have been revealed. So these are the ones you remember that are going to be the break parts. So you can give them like, here's one for my dog. Here's one for my athletic trainer. Here's for my mom or one for me, whoever. So they're all different. So the gold medal, each design is different. Like, I don't mean the color's different. We know they're gold and bronze and whatever.
Guys, the gold medal is gold and the silver medal is like the silver color.
But they have a different design on the front. And the gold medal, it has a piece of the Eiffel Tower. So the middle is like Eiffel Tower-y colored metal. And then there's gold around.
There's just loose pieces of the Eiffel Tower they can just take off.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not getting up in that thing. I'm terrified of heights. So if they've been dismantling it for these medals, and
I know if they're just like
now,
pulling off load-bearing parts of the Eiffel Tower to make these medals, I'm kind of concerned.
The pieces are from something that was replaced on the Eiffel Tower. So fear not. It's not going to crumble from the metals it being harvested to make metals out of. The poor Eiffel Tower is suffering enough.
The deforestation of the Eiffel Tower is something we don't talk about enough, and we need to talk about more. Anyway, aesthetically, do you enjoy these medals?
I mean, I like the backside has the like whoever Olympia on it, like a Grecian goddess lady, and you know that I like that. So that's on the back, and I think that's important. I like that there are different designs on each one. I think that's kind of cool. I think it's cool there's a piece of the Eiffel Tower, but you know, at least it's not like what was it, the Munich Olympics? It just had two dudes and like weird nutsacks. Like it was not even like a.
What is your problem with that?
It looks so weird. Fact checker can find it and bring up the Munich medals, and they look like aliens with strange genitalia. That was the front. And then before that, it was all like naked dudes carrying one guy on their shoulders. Like they had the same design.
Yeah, it's called the
like,
Olympics.
Greeks. Let's be jocks with our clothes off. That's what it was before. So doesn't that look like aliens?
We are looking at the Munich Olympic medals. Those are hilarious.
It looks like Bert and Ernie with a unibrow, aliens, and then weird situations going on. Yeah, so I'm just saying, I'm glad it doesn't look like that. Did you see the video that Chiles Jones, put up on her Instagram? She said she needed a hug. And so she put this video up of her.
Tell me about it.
She's hanging from the high bar. And two little gymnasts, they're not that little, probably 9 or 10-year-olds, both jump on either side of her, and they're hanging off of her and slowly sliding down. But this is like how strong she is. Her grip does not change. There are two like 10-year-old human beings hanging off of her. Her toes are still pointed. She doesn't move. The strength. That's all I'm saying. This is like, remember when Allie was trying to get her, poor Allie trying to get her splits and her over splits, Allie Raisman. And so she had all those children piled on top of her, and still the over splits did not happen.
It just wasn't. I
mean, piling children, it can take you to the next level, apparently. But Kenzo did. We talked about this, but we didn't actually take a look at it. You know, Kenzo has continued to do gymnastics. Like he still trains, just doesn't compete. He did a 4.5 punch front. A 4.5. That's what I think it is. It might be 5.5, but I'm pretty sure it's just a 4.5 punch front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it a 5.5? Oh my God, you guys. It's just insane. Like he's still so good. And obviously, you know, the floor cannot contain him. He lands out of bounds. But my God, who cares?
That's the whole point of not actually like competing to try to be in the Olympics anymore, is that you really don't care about going out of bounds.
No. You're like, nothing can hold me. I don't care. He's just so incredible. And also, this is like the peak of like adult gymnastics. Just do it for fun. Do crazy ass stuff that you would never actually put in your routine because you might go out of bounds and it would cost you something. And who cares? That's the best thing about adult gymnastics meets too, is like, you don't care. You don't care if you go out of bounds. Like, ignore all the rules. Change your Leo as many times as you want. Okay, this is the craziest thing ever. Some, you know, billionaire or something is putting on an enhanced games. Enhanced.
Yuck.
You guys. Peter Thiel. Isn't he someone who's like trying to be immortal or something? He's one of those.
Not just one of the billionaires, one of the worst ones.
Yes. Of course he's. So basically enhanced. What does that mean? You know, take all the steroids. What could go wrong? You could only have a stroke. It's fine. You could die, but that's fine. So the sports that are being included in this are track and field, swimming, weightlifting, combat sports, because what could go wrong if you're all rated out in combat sports, and gymnastics.
Oh, yeah, because they're so nice and safe otherwise.
Gymnastics.
But yeah, and gymnastics.
Enhanced gymnastics. Steroid gymnastics. I mean, there are some gymnasts out there who'll be like, oh, finally, I can compete again. But
Yeah, I feel like there are a number of former US mag elites that would actually be super into this.
Yeah. That would be like, oh, this
Unfortunately.
fits right into all the things that I've planned to do with my life. Yeah. So my question is just like, what all can you use? Like, can you take that heart medication that all the Russians got banned for, or is it just steroids? Can you take
Isn't the point? I assume the point of it is just like all of it.
yeah, I mean, can you also use like a robotic limb? Can you can you
Well,
use visiony things? Can you robot flippers onto your feet for the swimmers?
I
Would
don't
that
know or care.
So
So that's
anyway,
just a question that you're going to leave out there because I could not possibly be less interested in this.
my real question is how much is he going to pay the athletes to do this? Because you're going to have to roid yourself all up and then you're going to have to deal with the consequences of that. So does it include medical care afterwards? A new liver, for example. Is
Oh,
that what's in it?
I'm sure the health and safety has been way thought through. I'm
Oh, for
sure they definitely have. Yeah. They're
What
definitely ready for that.
what country do you think they're going to host this in?
The United States.
All right, we've talked about this before, but I just wanted to talk about this again because it's so freaking awesome. Sanne Veerman of the Netherlands, she showed her sites and looked so good, and we talked about what she's going to connect it to, and then she did connect it to a freaking Bahardwaj. I want to talk about this again because it's so freaking hard. A site directly to a Bahardwaj, and it's so clean. Her sites is so clean. Like sites are usually crazy and like a little out of control, but remember Bahardwaj was Bahardwaj in the beginning. The pack full was crazy and out of control, a little sidewaysy, and now people can do it in a perfect circle, and it looks so good. She's doing a sites to a Bahardwaj, but this is the thing, Spencer. It's like the hardest combination. Would you say this is almost the hardest, one of the hardest combinations you can do on bars?
Sure. Yeah.
For between bar
I
release?
mean, of course, it's transitions, so they're still capped at E. And, you know, so
Which is so
in terms
dumb.
of skill value, actual value in the code, not even close. But yes, in terms of challenge and twisting and all of that, yes, it's extremely challenging.
So crazy hard. Like the only other thing I can think of is you did like a toe. I don't even know. I can't think of any. What other releases between the bars besides a Bahardwaj going that direction pack? The only other one I think is if you did that crazy one where you go over the low bar and you catch the low bar in reverse grip and go right into a forward like Hindorfi or toe-on situation and then do some twisting release to the high bar. I can't remember what it's called. It's like named after a Canadian. But you know the one? It's like you're doing imagine you're doing a pack, but instead of catching inside the bars, you catch outside the bars in reverse grip and go around outside the bar instead of inside the bar, between the bars. You know the one I'm talking about. People
I'm not
stalk
really
out of it.
picturing it.
Like no one ever does it because it's so hard. Like to not slam your legs on the ground and going that direction is insane. But yeah, it's only worth 0.2.
It's almost like we have some issues with the quota points.
Right. And every time I'm like, why is this like Spencer has to remind me because I'm like, how much is that worth? And Spencer's like,
How much?
Literally
Three connection tenths, 4 connection tenths.
Right. It shouldn't be worth like there's a twist on each side. It should be worth way more. No, 0.2. This is another thing. I mean, the FIGs are doing pretty good, but this is an area we need to also have an international congressional hearing, which should look like Star Wars, where it's just like everyone's floating in little capsules inside the round. I would like that. US Classic tickets are now on sale. There's only 1 day of competition for seniors. So, of course, 2 days. There's 2 days of tickets. The only way you can buy a ticket is to buy the 2 days of tickets right now. So it's like hopes and juniors and all of that stuff. But that's the big, like I would expect most people to compete at that because if you haven't qualified to championships, that will be your last chance. And that's the one, you guys. So it's in Hartford, Connecticut. So May 17th and 18th. And we may have a little
coming up early.
Something.
It's early. Everything's early this year.
Yes. Not a live show there, but we'll have a little something that we might be doing. We have a little time left and we have some letters. Should we talk about perfect falls from Robin?
This says, your program often talks about how there needs to be a deduction for whatever causes a fall. Some deductions are erased by a fall, however. Page 2 of the, document, NAWGJ document that this person sends in, indicates that when taking a half-point deduction for a fall, a deduction should not be taken for balance errors before the fall. I also think, but couldn't find, if a gymnast takes 3 steps backwards and then falls, let's say on a vault or tumbling pass, the gymnast loses 5/10 for the fall, but not 3/10 or more for the steps.
Yeah, I remember that part. Like because our coaches would always tell us that, like, to make us remember to stop and not move and not be like, oh, I'm done. Now I got to pee and just run to the bathroom. They'd be like, all 30 steps you just took to the bathroom are 10th. You might as not have even vaulted. Like, every step counts. Yeah. But yeah, I remember it being like, yeah, if you fall, you fall. We're not going to take for every step before you fell. And I guess the balance error I can kind of see. But
you erase the balance errors, but it doesn't erase, like, the
low
form.
Chest. Right. Form
your
or
flexed feet, or, like if you fall in a vault, you're still deducting for your, closed shoulder, allegedly, not in college. I mean, can you imagine? Your closed shoulder angle on the vault that caused the lack of amplitude, that caused, right. You're still deducting for things like that.
Yeah, but I think like that scenario where like you do a layout, wave your arms 3 times, like you land it perfectly, and then a wind comes and you wave your arms 3 times trying to stay on from this giant gust of wind and then fall off. Like, you're not going to take the arm wave and then the fall. But if you land...
Which is the opposite of what you said last time we talked about this, but that's fine.
But wasn't I talking about a low chest? Or being off to the side? Like the overall dynamics direction?
I'll give it to you.
Okay. All right.
But yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Good point.
Yeah.
To this letter.
Thank you so much to this letter writer, and I will bookmark this page because it's very important to remember this. Okay. Emily. This is about Malabuyo's travel schedule.
Joanna says, I have a unique perspective to her situation. I did NCAA out west and tried to qualify to the Olympics for my native country. In my sport, most of the qualification events took place in Europe, so there was a lot of time in airports and planes and almost constant jet lag. I hope she has a great support system, online classes, and an ability to sleep anywhere and everywhere. Fake it till you make it. She will have time to be tired after the college season, hopefully. This is an absolutely insane schedule, but I believe in her superhumanness. Also, I'm so excited to see gymnastics in person for the first time in Paris and say hi to you guys. We'll not be competing there this time, but attending in a different function.
Yay! Oh, I'm so excited. I mean, this is the thing. I'm always like, do you remember at a certain age you could sleep anywhere? Like, did you...
That was never me, but
that was not you. Okay.
No, it was like at a very young age.
I feel like athletes in general always have so much tiredness in them that at some way, if you relax them anywhere, they can just fall asleep. But that is
they have almost like cattishness, where they can just fall asleep like on the side of a book, and you're like, how? How is this?
Like, I remember Shannon Miller talked about this in her last book or the book before that, where she talked about like literally they would go the 10-minute ride from like wherever they were staying to the venue. She would always fall asleep. Like, gets in a car, it moves, she's instantly asleep. So efficient. So efficient. Olympic trials live show meetup info.
Michaela says, hi, I will be coming from Canada for Olympic trials with my parents and husband. We are super excited. We're starting to plan for the trip and would like to plan around attending the live show and any meetup. Do you guys have any ideas when those will be scheduled for, Jessica?
Yes. It will be, I think we're going to have a meetup at Classic. We don't know the day yet exactly because we don't have the exact schedules of the meet yet. But Olympic trials, it's going to be after the team's named. Then we're going to go like immediately discuss it all together as a family and go over everything.
Yeah.
Right then. So it'll basically be the team will be named. We might have a little time to do interviews after. So probably like an hour, hour and a half after Olympic trials ends. So it's probably going to be late at night, and it'll be somewhere that's like easy to get to from the venue that you can either hop in a very quick Uber or you can walk to. That's our goal. And we always try to find at least somewhere with drinks, if not food, hopefully both. We have a place we really want to do it, but they're not totally open yet. So we'll see how it goes. But as soon as we have the full schedule, we'll release it for you. And I'm so excited for you to come. Who does a good beat jump?
Stephanie says, who is someone I can look up that does a really good beat jump? I saw some garbage ones over the weekend, and I'm like, does this ever look good? Thanks. Ooh, I should have looked at this before. Who has a good beat jump?
Has Ethora ever done one? That's what I'm thinking. Ethora will be perfect. Has she ever done one? First, to see a really good one, look up whatever it's called. What's it called in ballet? A changement? Is that it? And look at a ballerina do it, or a ballet dancer. Because they don't call men ballerinas, apparently. Male ballet dancer. But basically, you should be able to be like, ooh, look at that toe point. And then boop, boop. Their feet go back and forth, perfectly pointed. And then it should be like 3 sections. Ooh, they're so high I can see their toes pointed. Boop, boop in front. One's in front, then the other one's in front, and then they land. But that's a good question. All right, we will research.
It's not something we see in college gymnastics beam. This is our crowdsourced conversation topic for the week that we will revisit on next week's episode after we preview Winter Cup Part 2.
Because the second that, people are already sending their emails right now, gymcastic@gmail.com. Put beat jump in the subject line so we can put together a whole like string of these. Like here's the best that's been ever done.
We should do that for all of the like kind of dumpy college beam skills, like cat leaps too. Like who actually does this the way it's supposed to look? Hitch kicks.
Oh, freaking hitch kicks. Well, hitch kicks, there's like Emeyer Cole, hitch kick. Emeyer Cole, from Nevada, went to art high school. What do they call the art high schools? Performing arts high school. Incredible college gymnast, Emeyer Cole. Amazing hitch kick. Like where you're like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. It hits you like it kicked you right in the face with it. It's so beautiful. Well, and basically we're just gonna have to go back to the Soviet videos, all the videos of the Soviets. Yeah, but beat jump. Yeah, hitch kick. Cat leap. And a beautiful.
We're gonna call it like pay attention to your A's. Like it just because it's an A skill doesn't mean isn't real.
I bet some of the compulsory routines have this from like the 80s and 90s. Like remember the fouette? They had to land like in full split scale on one of those, and it was like, oh my god. So pretty.
Compulsory beam. I'm just going to sigh for a while thinking about how much I love compulsory beam.
You love compulsory beam, and then you remember the time that we were sitting there at the media tribune, minding our own business, watching Simone warm up, and then she turned around and yelled at me, "Stop talking about bringing back compulsories," and giggled to herself and turned around. And I was like, ah! You'll never have to do them again, Simone.
Yeah. Simone, you don't have to worry about compulsories.
Well, she did her perfect back walkovers and front walkovers. And I was like, what are you worried about? Your gymnastics is perfect. But and the legend goes, as Amy and Simone will say, is how long it took her to pass her compulsories. Because obviously there's something wrong with gymnastics. So anyway, you guys, send in your perfect beat jumps for us. It's going to be something so obvious, like Ukraine, 1992.
You like Ukraine, 1992?
Well, all around winner. Was that 92?
Oh.
No, 96.
Podkopayeva?
Yes, duh. It's going to be Podkopayeva, who did all of the perfect ballet basics.
I didn't think you were trying to
prompt 92?
me to say someone. I thought you were just saying it's going to be as perfect as Ukraine in 1992.
And the era. Okay. That is going to do it for us this week. We will see you on College and Cocktails this Friday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 if you're on the East Coast, that is. So we will see you after. What meet are we watching again? Alabama?
Auburn, LSU.
Auburn, LSU, 7:30 Pacific. Remember to get your cocktail ready. We can't wait. Friday nights are so fun, you guys. We have the best time. It's so fun to talk about the meets. So we'll see you then. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, you can get your a Rage-O-Meter or a Joy-O-Meter, and you can get your virtual live show ticket for the price of 3. And thank you so much for joining us. And until next week, remember to take off on gay, split on rights. Remember to register to vote. And thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in College and Cocktails on Friday.